Good day kwese kwamuri. In today's lesson, toda kuita the mensuration of solid shapes. This topic is going to be beneficial, especially for paper 2 section B, ZIMSEC, where we usually have a question to do with mensuration. Saka mensuration yatakuita different from yatakaita earlier, where we were looking at 2D shapes or polygons. Now toda kutarisa ma 3D shapes and polygons. So maybe what I have to start with is this. Kana chiti 2D, tiri kungoti 2-dimensional. And anonzi ma dimensions, when we look at shapes, it's loosely, cannot basically, a length and a width. That's 2-dimensional. Something which we can draw on a shape, it only has 2 dimensions. Saka we did this earlier, cannot in our yesterday lesson. In today's lesson, we are focused on 3D, which means 3-dimensional shapes. And my 3-dimensional shapes, loosely speaking, my dimensions are its length, width, and height. So this is just an example of one of the shapes we are going to be looking at, a rectangular prism, where we have a length, a width, and a height. The first subtopic we want to look at panapa is the surface area and volume of solids. So what should we discuss? What is surface area and what is the volume of solids? And if there's a difference, what is that difference? We are going to be discussing it under this subtopic. We are going to be building upon our knowledge of area and also our knowledge of volume. The first type of 3D shapes, cannot solid shapes, we should be looking at are prisms. So what are prisms? Trukureve kanachiti a prism. When we talk about prisms, we mainly have 3 types of prisms. Yekutanga, we have what is called a rectangular prism. Secondly, we have what is called a triangular prism. And then, lastly, we have what is called a cylinder. Saka ino yatati rectangular prism, inogona kunzi a cuboid. Kana kuti cuboid, it is an example of a rectangular prism. Then we have a triangular prism and also a cylinder. So let us put down different shapes which are going to help us understand what we mean. Saka panapa, talking about a rectangular prism or a cuboid, it's going to be like this. In simple sense, a box panapa. This is the rectangular prism, kanakuti a cuboid. Then we have what is called a triangular prism. Saka triangular prism yakadaiso, we have a triangle, a triangular base, something like this. Then kunok we also have a triangular base, like this. Saka dozainenge yakaita kudaiso. So we have a triangular base, kanauti 2 triangular bases, then we make a shape out of it. Then lastly, when we talk about a cylinder, imagine kakaita seka cup kanaka. Saka for a cylinder, what do we have? We have a cyclic base, kanauti for the base tinema seko. So if we put this rectangular prism or cuboid, kurikuti tangata draw yakadaiso, there's something I want to illustrate. We could have drawn it like this. Yaka mirror on its base. something like this. Murukona. Saka, for a rectangular prism, we have a rectangular base. Saka, this is a rectangular base. For a triangular prism, tine a triangular base. And lastly, for a cylinder, tine a cyclic base. Saka, for the base panapa, the shape we have is a rectangle. Saka ichinzi a rectangular prism. For the triangular prism, base redu it's a triangle. That's why it's a triangular prism. And lastly, for a cylinder, base redu it's basically a circle. Saka, this is what we have. Now looking at these three different types of prisms, what are we the most concerned with? Chatiri the most concerned with, it is the volume. So when we marry volume and surface area, I'm going to show you practically what do we refer to. But chatiri kuda kunyanyo ku concentrate on panapa is the volume. And generally speaking, volume is equal to length times width times height. But we want to do some form of mathematics panapa, which is going to help us understand. Saka, volume is equal to length times width times height. Inengeri volume is a rectangular prism. Cannot, for the sake of simplicity, katingoti box. Saka, tine box red one. This is our box. Katiri draw rakadai so. Tine box redu kudai so. Kana tichida kuziva the volume of this box, it's going to be length times width times height. But let us imagine that we have a rectangle. Andika? This is a rectangle yatinayo. Tikadzokera kumsoro kunoko, tati for a rectangular prism, which is a box, the base is going to be rectangular. Saka, base rectangular prism is rectangle. And I want you to take that into mind. Saka, rectangle yataisa panapa, it's the base. What is the area of this base? Area of base is length times width. Saka, tikati area is equal to length times width. Zoreva kuti by mathematical principles, tinogona kudzoka ku formula yedu inoi ya volume is equals to length times width times height to replace a length times width na area. Kurava tingeya kuti volume is equal to area ta replace this part times height. Kana takuchizinyora formally, tinenge takuti volume is equal to base area times height. Saka, this is the general expression here volume. Whenever you want to find a volume, you are going to be required to use this. Volume is equal to base area times height. When you look in our course reader, the volume is equal to area of constant cross-section times perpendicular height. That's overdiagonizing it. Saka, for a box, we have been doing it since forever. Kutanga primary, when we were introduced to the concept of volume, we were dealing with the rectangular shape. Saka, let us leave it out a little. Let us now focus on a cylinder. Sangati tarisei cylinder. Tuone kuti ticharita sei. Saka takatarisa cylinder. What did we say about a cylinder? Tati, what is the base of a cylinder? Kuri kuti tanzititsvage the volume of a cylinder. Volume of cylinder. What is this going to be equal to? Saka, the volume of cylinder is equal to, tunova tanyora, like the general or basic formula of a volume tobva tangoti base area times height. Then we ask ourselves a question: what is the base of a cylinder? We explained earlier that the base of a cylinder is a circle. Saka panapa patanyora kuti base area, we are just going to edit in the area of a circle, which we explained to be pi r squared times height to watangoiti h. Kureva kuti the volume of a cylinder is equal to pi r squared h. That is the volume of a cylinder, like that. Murikuona kuti it's not that much difficult to get. What is going to be the volume of a triangular prism, for example? Saka tapiwa a triangular prism, we want to understand what the volume is going to be. So for a triangular prism, let us draw it like this. Tuone kuti tinowana chi for our, it's more like this, yeah. Saka kana chida kutsvaka the volume panapa, tichati volume of triangular prism, what is it equal to? It's equal to base area times height. So base area times height tongoti h. What is the base area? Area ye triangle tinoiwana sei. Saka generally speaking, area ye triangle is going to be half base times height. Saka it's half base times height multiplying height, which simply means kuti panapa it's going to be half of base height squared. So the idea is yekuti mukreme maformulas aya. Idea ndeye kuziva kwari kubva. Saka if you understand kuti volume is basically base area times height, mukaziva kuti base racho chimbori chi, you can easily find the volume of any three-dimensional solid shape. So that is what I'm trying to instruct on here. In our next subsection, we want to look at the pyramid and a cone. And we want to differentiate between a triangular prism and a pyramid. There's a difference between a triangular prism and a pyramid. And of course, kana takambodya ice cream in our lives, we are sure to know kuti we have seen a cone, ice cream cone. So we are going to be looking at those two shapes, before which I want to introduce you to the idea of a surface area. Saka takuita Mary surface area and what else are we looking at? Volume. Many people tend to confuse it, but zvakasiyana. So we are going to now look at, I'm going to exemplify with an actual box and to just help you understand what we are talking about. Okay, ndanotsvagana nebox ndauya naro toda kuillustrata kuti chinonzi volume chi uye chinonzi surface area chi. So when we defined volume science form 1, takati volume is the space, cannot amount of space which is occupied by an object. So kana chitaura pamusoro pe volume takatarisa ma three-dimensional shapes. Chekutanga, we have to notice kuti this is a three-dimensional shape. Saka this is our box. It's a three-dimensional shape. With three-dimensional wacho uri pakuti we have a length. Saka we will say this is the length. Then we have a width. This is going to be the width. And we also have a height, which is this one. So this is three-dimensional. Kana chitaura pamusoro pe volume, tiri kutaura space iri mukati me box. This is what volume refers to. Ndiko kuti volume kunoku, the space inside the box. But kana takutaura inonzi surface area, we are now concerned with anonzi mafaces. Saka maybe to exemplify this before we go to a box, let me use a book. So I'm going to be using Ulysses. This is one of my favorite novels. It was written by James Joyce and it has difficult prose. I enjoy it and I love it. Saka, when we look at this book, and volume will be paka occupied nema pages. That is volume. But surface area, we are looking at faces. Saka tine face yekutanga yakanyorwa Ulysses James Joyce. This is face number 1. But face number 1 it's in a corresponding face. The corresponding face will be this one. Kuno kwakanyorwa the bio of the writer and some additional information. Saka this is face 1 and this is face number 2. Then tinogona kutena, so this is also a face number 3. The corresponding face, cannot opposite yet this face will be this, which is face number 4. Then lastly tikadai so face number 5 and face number 6. Saka we have 6 faces, and this book, of course, it's a form of a rectangular prism. Coming back to our box, we defined and showed you the volume is space rimkati. Kuri kuti box redu tarivhara so, and ino-ish face. Andika? But face ino in opposite. Opposite ye face in the the ish. Saka ndo face number 2. Then totena face ish in an opposite. What is the opposite of this face? This one. Sakatane face 2 and 3. Then lastly we can talk about this face in an opposite face. This face. Saka, this serves to show you that we have 6 faces for rectangular prisms, kana kuti cuboids, kana kuti ma box. 6 faces. But 6 faces is but 6 ma face eye, and that ma face, these faces, 6 faces ati now. When we talk about a surface area, we are calculating the area of all these faces and we get the sum of it. Saka tiri, let me use a book for the sake of simplicity. Let me use Charlotte Bronte Jane Eyre. The book I'm currently reading, I'm enjoying it. It's a classic written by Charlotte Bronte. Saka book here, as we can see, it has 6 faces because it's rectangular. But for a surface area, teacher calculated the face of this, cannot the area of this face. To calculate the area of this face, to calculate the area of this face, area FSE noi, area FSE, area FSE noi, and lastly area FSE. So we are calculating the areas of these faces to my EDA. But because we understand the general properties of a rectangular prism, inotudza kuti this face and this face, they are equal in terms of dimension. So that tika calculate area of this face, tikaiti times 2, tinenge tatokava ne area of this face. Tika calculate area of this face, tikaiti times 2, tatokava ne area of this face. Tika calculate area of this face, tikati times 2, tatokava ne area of this face. So basically this is the difference between volume and total surface area. Volume is just length by width times height, or base area times height, the space occupied. But surface area, we are now concerned with the area of faces. So we have illustrated Musiano Ripa surface area and volume. Towards that surface area, we are concerned with the area of different faces, and for volume we are concerned with the 3 dimensions, the space. So when we look at, firstly, let us consider a rectangular prism. Tikatarisa a rectangular prism, toda kuona kuti what is going to be the total surface area. Saka total surface area, let us just have a rough drawing of a rectangular prism, which is like this. Yes, it's like this. My dimensions are length, width and height. Saka kana tichitsvaga total surface area, what we are doing is tiri kutarisa area yemaface. Saka tikatarisa this face, for example, which is the base, this face, and tenge takuti area ye this face, saka area of ngatingoti base face, kana kuti ngatingonyora the formula pasi because it's a general formula. Saka area ye face ino iri pasi inenge iri length times width. Saka it's length times width. But face ino iri pasi yakafanana ne face iri pamusoro. Kureva kuti tikati 2 times panapa tinenge tatokava face iri pasi ne face iri pamusoro. Okay. Ngatichienda ipa face iri paside kureva ino ishi. Face iri paside, what is its area? Sachati plus panapa. Tukona kuti area yacho ichi width times height. So it's width times height, and ndangandanyora ndangobatanidza, but let us do this. Width times height, but width times height yacho kuti tifananidze ne this area takuti times 2 twatati plus. Ngatichitarisai like this face yakatitarisai, iyi face yakatitarisa. Saka face yakatitarisa, what is going to be its area? I'm gonna height ino iri apa inenge yakangofanana ne height iri apa, saka apa panouya height. Kureva kuti the area is going to be length times height. So length times height, we have to multiply it by 2. Saka this is going to be what we are referring to as the total surface area. Total surface area. Saka pane basa, saka ichiwanzokuwanikwa ku section B ye paper 2, pane basa riripo. Chakakosha kuziva kutanga kuti what is surface area kana kuti total surface area. Then maziva mava ne that idea kuti tiri kutsvaga ma-areas ema-faces. Then secondly kuziva kuti tine ma-face mangani pa-shape yedu. Toona kuti we only have, like in that instance, we have 6 faces, but each face in a pairing cannot opposite face iri equal in dimensions. That's why that 2 times that, 2 times that, 2 times that. That's total surface area. What about the total surface area of a triangular prism? We are going to take note kuti inge yakadai so. Let us put it down. So when we are now discussing a triangular prism, I want to show you kuti a triangular prism tinogona kuidraw zvakare in a different way. And what do I mean by that? For a triangular prism, togona kuidraw yakadai so, like this. Saka inogona kurara like this zvakare. Saka izvi hazvifanirwe kuaffecta its volume. Kana muchitsvaga volume, kana muchida kuita kuti zvingova easy pakutsvaga volume, just do it like this. Imisei kuti base redu rive obvious, kuitira kuti zvive easy. Saka volume imisei like this. Haimbonetse kumisa because angori madimensions achinje pamunoimisa. Height iri panapa inongoramba iriyo height inenge iri panapa, and malengths aya haachinje. Base rino iri rongoramba riri base rapo, understand? Saka for volume I would advise kuti kana mapiwa a triangular prism imisei, but kana kuri kuti tiri kutsvaga total surface area hazvina muswa kuti maitsvaga yakaita sei. Okay, saka tiri pano kuti tiwane total surface area. How are we going to do it? Saka total surface area inenge iri equal to, you can see kuti triangle inoi ne triangle E zvinge zvakafanana in terms of dimensions, they are similar. So how do we get the area of a triangle? Basically it's half base times height. Saka half base times height, but we still have to multiply it by 2 nepamusana pekuti tine 2 matriangle twatati plus. Then tokoona kuti ino iyi shape yandoda kutsokorodza in this yellowish color, this shape ish, mukacherechedza muchaona kuti ingori rectangle yakaslanda. Imagine the rooftop kumba, rectangle yakaslanda. Saka sezvo iri rectangle yakaslanda, kana takapiwa kuti panapa ngatiti length yapa tobva tapiwa ne width yepanapa like that, zvongoreva kuti tichati chi area yacho its length times width. But yakaslanda iyi inenge yakafanana neyakaslandawo kune rimwe side, inenge yakaslanda kuside kunoku ish, mazona. Saka you still have to say times 2 mamati plus. But panapa manje pari kusara base rino iri risina imwe side yarakafanana naro, this base. Saka base iri renge riri chi, its length times, saka panapa tachigona kuti apa because this will be the height, i height, saka panapa ngatingoti base since iri base triangle, saka yonge iri length times base, just length times base. If we simplify, we see kuti 2 inochekana ne e, kureva kuti it's basically going to be base times height plus 2lw plus lb. Saka we are not teaching you kukrema zvinizvi, we are teaching you kuti zvinotsvagwa sei depending ne situation yamunenge mapiwa. And kuri kuti tadzokera kumusoro kunoku, this can also be simplified to this, kuti it's 2lw plus 2wh plus 2lh, which of course tikabuditsa 2 kunoku, that is tikaita factor out 2 tinosara tina lw plus wh plus lh like this. Saka this is a simpler way of putting it. And but musazvikrema, wonai kuti zvinogadzirwa sei, munozvigadzirira formula yenyu kana muri muexam. Cylinder, kana takutarisa cylinder, which the shape is going to be more like this. This is the cylinder. We know that the volume is just base area times height. Saka tikada kungonyorawo pa side panapa tati volume I base area times height, and of which base area is pi r squared times height in the h to mean pi r squared h, and so it's pi r squared h. This was the volume. What is going to be the total surface area? Saka total surface area ye cylinder hapana chachinja. Total surface area is going to be equal to, tinotarisa this base, toona kuti base iri renge rakafanana nebase iro, and there is an anatomical way of proving this. Nepamusana pekuti like cylinder yedu ma heights ayanenge akafanana, height panapa ne height panapa inenge yakafanana, ndozvinongotiudza kuti this base and that base are going to be anatomically the same. But we don't have to worry about those technicalities. What we should know is they are the same. Saka, what is the area of this base? Pi r squared. We have to multiply it by 2. Mapaona. But now tadaro we have a curved area. A curved area. Saka what is going to be this curved surface area? Saka ndinoti plus curved surface area. So I want to show you what we mean kana tichiti curved surface area, so that we can use that to then explain kuti zviri kufamba sei. We have a paper like this, and kuti tigadzire a cylinder using this paper, it's simply doing this. Koko refolder rova radai so. Mapaona. Saka pandiri kuda kuti like ribude rakadai so. Da folder. Kuti zvinyatso kuenderana like this. Saka this is our cylinder. Ta folder. Saka chiri kunzi curved surface area. Kuti this curvature andika kukeva kunoku ndo curved surface area. Curved surface area yacho tinoiwana sei tikabhedenura so. Don't care about zvandakanyora kunoku. Tikabhedenura like this, it becomes a rectangle. So the idea of calculating the curved surface area emanates from the fact that kuti tigadzire a cylinder tinenge tafold a rectangle. Tikatora rectangle yedu tikaifolder, we end up with a cylinder. So that's the idea. So I want you to have that idea in your mind as I explain further kuti how are we going to calculate it. So when we are looking at this curved surface area, tatsanangura kuti chatinenge tambokeva chimbori chi, tinenge takeva a rectangle. Saka to learn about this, we start with a rectangle. Saka rectangle yedu ande yakadai so. This is a rectangle like this. Ndo yatinozokeva kuti idai like this. Kuitira kuti tiwane chi tisare tine a cylinder. So the curved surface area is going to be equal to 2 pi r h. And let me explain it. Tikauya panapa, tikatora this length, mukona length ish, anditi ndiyo yatichafolda ichigadzira circle. Saka panapa patanga tichimboti kuri kuti tanga taisa imwe cylinder panapa, tanga taisa imwe rectangle panapa, length times width anditi. Saka side ratanga timboti length ndiro riri kugadzira a new tereresai circumference. Saka length iyo iri kugadzira a new circumference. New circumference yacho tikatora perimeter inenge iri 2 pi r. Saka instead of kunyora kuti length apa tenge takunyora kuti chi 2 pi r. Then inoi yanga imbori width iri kuchinja kuva height. 2 pi r times height 2 pi r h. Ndokwa zvinobva. Saka we are redefining length ichiva 2 pi r because length iri kugadzira a new circle circumference. Then we are redefining width ichiva a height because it's literally a height along the cross section. Understand? Saka what's happening here is this. Tika uya panapa tinenge takungozvinyora zvakadai so. Total surface area. Therefore, watonyora total surface area. Musakangana kunyora total surface area. It's very important. Is equal to 2. I can go to multiply pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. And as you can see, tinogona ku factor out 2 pi r. 2 pi r. Panapa tosara tina r plus apo tosara tina h. Saka that is going to be the formula. And even if because most people don't know it, kune vanosama kuikrema and oikangana mu exam. Saka please musaikrema, just understand the like how we derived it. Total surface area is equal to 2 pi r squared iri kubva pakuti we have 2 circles plus a curved surface area which is 2 pi rh. Iri kubva pakuti taita redefine a rectangle. So that's like what we really want to talk about. Okay, let us now look at the pyramid and the cone. So I think you are well vexed with what is called a pyramid scheme. Saka let me just talk about a pyramid scheme. Chinoitika pa pyramid scheme ndechekuti munhu anouya kwamuri kuti plus ndine dhiri riripo, dhiri riri kuti munoisa dollar inodzoka ya times 2 and samukanipa dollar inini ndikamhanya kudhiri ndichanoisa dollar handiti painodzoka iri times 2 ndodzoka ndokupa $2 mobva mati bobo kana kuti zvinonzi dhiri rinoita kuti mari idzoke iri times 3 but inini ndichatorawo kanguwo tiite senge it's a legitimate deal, then saka nichatora ka 50 cents kekuti ndindafambisa dhiri ndokupai $50 mani padola and motofaura kuti zviri kumeka sense ichi mari yangu ndaita profit zvanzi bo. Next time odzoka mukomana woti chinipai 10 dhiri richadzosa ya 30 ndotora 5 moti bo momupa 10 yai. Odzoka futi after some time woti chingoriska 100 plus dhiri rinodzosa 300 ndotora 20 momupa 100 odzoka nayo, then pamunozoti uyu mufana uyu zviri kufamba kaizvi moti regai nditengese wardrobe ye$600 momupa 500 moti enda kudhiri mufana obva anyura. Saka that's a pyramid scheme kuti it's it's a pyramid in its makeup. You can research about what is called a Ponzi scheme. You can research about what is called a multi-level marketing scheme. It's like just free knowledge. Okay. So when we talk about a pyramid, let us put them. So we have pyramids in Africa, we have pyramids in Egypt, we have pyramids in Sudan. Zviri kutonzi mapyramids ari kuSudan akawanda kudarika mapyramids ari kuEgypt. So this is a pyramid. Let me redraw it where we have more space. Saka it's going to have a rectangular base. Very important to note. Then tuataitachi maline ananga chibva pa every vertex like this. Saka mapyramids ekuEgypt maivigwa mafaro amakuva like this. And saka as you can see, how many faces do we have? Tine 1 2 3 4 5 ne base. I cannot necessarily show you kuti handina pyramid pandiri panapa. Then we are going to have a height inge chibva pa this vertex ichinobata pakati pe base pedu panapa, and this is a perpendicular height iri kusvika at 90 degrees like that. So that's a pyramid. But when we now talk about a cone it has a cone now has a round kana kuti circular base. Then we have a line and another. This is now what a cone is. Then for a cone again, we also have a perpendicular height. Nobata pakati pa center pe circle iri svika iye at 90 like this. So that's a pyramid, that's a cone. Saka taona kuti pyramid yedu yakamira sei, taona zvakare kuti cylinder yedu yakamira sei. We then have to put down a general statement. Saka tiri kuti in general, for mashapes aya ari 2, volume is going to be equal to 1/3 times base area times height. Saka it's going to be difficult to explain why ichiti 1/3 times base area times height. The volume of a cone and pyramid is going to be 1/3 times base area times height. Saka chawedzerwa panapa, it's just this factor 1/3. Base area times height taiita kuma prisms. But the moment we go to the pyramid and the cone, is going to be 1/3 times base area times height. Saka this is something to know, Bazalwan. If you want an answer from me, tell me and I will research. Otherwise, anditoziviwo. I just know kuti ndo zvazviri. Like zvazviri ndo zvazviri. Okay. Saka kuri kuti tatarisa a pyramid, like you now have the shape of a pyramid in your mind. What is going to be the volume of a pyramid? Saka pyramid ratadrowa iri rine a special term. It's called a square-based pyramid. Saka this base is actually a square. So they will tell you, is it a square-based pyramid? Is it a, maybe we also have a rectangular-based, kind of rectangle-based pyramid. They will communicate that with you. So kana iri a square-based pyramid. Remember that 1/3 times base area. So this will be 1/3 times base area will be side squared. So s squared like this. Suppose like the area of a square is the side times the side. So s squared times height. It will be 1/3 s squared h. That will be the volume. Okay. Tikatarisa that cone. What is going to be the volume of the cone? Saka the volume of the cone is going to be equal to 1/3 times base area. What is the area? What is the base? The base is a circle. What is its area? The area is pi r squared. So 1/3 of pi r squared times height. But chinhu chandanga kuemphasize, chiri kunzi height hama dzangu, it's a perpendicular height. Kureva height yandaimaka panapa. Line racho height rinofanirwa kusvika pasenda pebase at 90 degrees. Saka vanogona kukupai this length, kuti tongoti length it's 4 meters. Then overvaisa height here 2 meters panapa. What calculate the volume. You have to know kuti volume yatiri kuda kana kuti height yatiri kuda, it's perpendicular height. Even for a rectangle, a triangle I mean, it's half base times perpendicular height. So please don't be tricked like that. Saka if we simplify panapa, it's basically going to be 1/3 pi r squared h, like that. So that is what it's going to be, like this. But for a cone, we can also talk about a total surface area. So the total surface area of a cone, what is it going to be? Total surface area of a cone. Saka this total surface area is obviously going to be area a base, mapaona, which is pi r squared, because cone yedu yakadai so. This is what a cone is like. Saka this base is a circle, that's why it's at pi r squared. Saka it's pi r squared plus, remember kuti total surface area tikutora ma areas ema faces tichima eda. So it's plus what? The curved surface area. Saka curved surface area, we are talking about this area ish yaka curve. That's the curved surface area. And what is the curved surface area? Curved surface area for a cone is simply pi r l. That's what the curved surface area of a cone is. Saka, this is what is going to be, which we can then simplify to pi. If we factor out, what do we factor out? To factor out pi r, to saratina r plus l. So I just want to explain a few things panaba per the surface area of a cone. So we explained the surface area of a cylinder. It was easy to understand. But the surface area of a cone, pi d pi, that constant, r e radius, then l e length. So I just have to know this. I cannot explain it myself. Saka, just know it. It's pi r squared plus pi r l. So depending on your brain power, and by brain power I mean your memorizing power, you can memorize it, you can research where it comes from, depending on how you learn. Otherwise, the way I learn, I don't enjoy memorizing stuff, so I research things out. But certain things are just as they are. So that is what we are working with. The next thing we are going to do is we are going to work through some examples. Then we give you an exercise by which you can test yourself. After which we will discuss about the sphere, probably in our next lesson. This is going to be our first practice question. The question reads, a car petrol tank is 0.8 meters long, 25 centimeters wide, and 20 centimeters deep. How many liters of petrol can it hold? Saka, there are things we should discuss before we attempt to answer this question. The first thing, which should be to you a very important note, is this. The units should be the same always. Saka vanobata vanhu kazhinji nekusiyanisa ma-units. Look at this question. A car petrol tank is 0.8 meters long, but 25 centimeters wide and 20 centimeters deep. Saka tapiwa ma-meters, ma-centimeters nema-centimeters. Tikaweka tisina kuconverta either ma-centimeters tichimaendesa kuma-meters or ma-meters tichimaendesa kuma-centimeters, tinenge tatsvirira. Saka I would advise kuconverta ma-meters to centimeters because it's not always good to work with decimals. So that's the first thing. Secondly, how many liters of petrol can it hold? Go back to my illustration of volume. Volume iri kutudza empty space iri mukati mebox, iri mukati metank. Saka question inofunza kuti how many liters of petrol can it hold iri kufunza volume. Ma questions anofunza surface area kazhinji ane chekuita nekupenda, be it kupenda mukati kana kunze, and hopefully we are going to get to them. But kana question ikafunza kuti how much does it hold, question iyoyo iri kufunza pamusoro pe volume. So you have to know that, and you have to know that. Now answering our question, the first thing we do, tisha convert 0.8 meters to centimeters. So I'm going to use proportion. You can use any other method you are the most comfortable with. So using proportion, we know that 1 meter is equivalent to 100 centimeters. How about 0.8 meters? It is equivalent to x centimeters. And the letter x tukishandisa as a variable cannot unknown. So we have to now convert this into a fraction. 1 over 0.8 is equal to my semicolon and equal sign 100 over x. Then cross multiplication, go out 1 times x, it equal to 100 times 0.8. 1 times x in the x, and what is 100 times 0.8? What is this? So 100 times 0.8 is 80. Saka basically that's 80 centimeters. Takuchikwanisa kuiansa manchi nekuti everything is now in centimeters. How many liters of petrol can it hold? The other thing I advise is, since taudzwa kuti this is a car tank takapiwa 3 dimensions, I would just advise to quickly scribble down a rectangular prism that is, and then just put the numbers to visualize what you are working with. Saka the length is 80 centimeters, then the width is 25 centimeters, the height is 20 centimeters. How many liters of volume can it hold? Saka you can say liters, and how many liters of petrol? So liters it can hold is equal to volume. Then panomoya moti volume is basically length times width times height. Mamchikone kutangira kuti base area times height, but apo it's apparently straightforward. So this is equal to 80 centimeters times the width is 25 centimeters times 20 centimeters. This is equal to, then we just do the calculation, 80 times 25 times 20 is 40,000. Saka this is 40,000 cubic centimeters, like this. So let me just give you information yamufanga kusiva. You have to know that 1 cubic centimeter is equal to 1 milliliter. Saka kana tine 1000 milliliters mu 1 liter, zvinoreva kuti tine 1000 cubic centimeters. Zvinoita kuti 40,000 cubic centimeters ive 40 liters. So this is the first question. The highlight is make sure your units are the same, then interpret the question and solve it. Let us go to the second practice question. Speaking of the second practice question, our practice question reads, a circular, take note, kwanza circular, a circular metal sheet 48 centimeters in diameter and 2 millimeters thick is melted and recast into a cylindrical bar 6 centimeters in diameter. How long is the bar? Saka kweseni irikuya ichita add flesh to what we discussed in our earlier question, where we said take note that you are working with the same units. Saka let us convert everything to the same units. So what I usually encourage is, when you are doing these conversions, look for the unit, the smallest unit, kana the smaller unit, pane dzamuri kushanda nadzo, and convert to that smaller unit to avoid kushanda nema decimals. Saka tikona the smallest unit panapa it's millimeters. Kureva kuti knowing kuti 1 kana kuti rather 10 millimeters and those are equivalent to 1 centimeter. Kana masukangano munongotarisa parula penyu muri exam, you'll see this fact. What about 48 centimeters? It's x. So 10 over x is equal to 1 over 48. Cross multiplication. 10 times 48 is equal to 1 times x. 480 is equal to x. Saka mukunangoti therefore 48 centimeters is equal to 480 millimeters. Antika? Saka panapa we also want to convert 6 centimeters. Saka owing to zvataweka apo tiringoona we just have to multiply ma centimeters acho times 10. Saka 6 centimeters inge equal to 6 times 10 millimeters, which is equal to 60 millimeters. Kana muchida kuavoida, if you can redo the proportion, you get to your answer. Saka that is what we have. Ta convert everything to millimeters for the ease of calculation. Let us now reread the question. A circular metal disc. Saka kuri kuti tiri kuda draw, which we should do. So this is the circular metal disc, and a circular metal sheet 48 centimeters in diameter. Saka it actually has to be a circle, not a elliptical. Saka it's a circular, it's like this. But also it's 48 centimeters in diameter. Diameter takati kupfura nepasenda tichibva kune rimwe side chinobata rimwe side. Saka this diameter ndiyochi tonyora 480 millimeters. Saka it's 480 millimeters in diameter, and it has a thickness. It's 2 millimeters thick. Korea kuti I don't know if I'm going to be able to really represent kwa thick, but let me just try. It's just 2 millimeters thick. Ndokuna kunyora ndakadai. And you can trace like this, 2 millimeters thick. So since it is melted and recast into a cylindrical bar, but this cylindrical bar is 6 centimeters in diameter. Saka turi melter and we recast it into a cylindrical bar. Remember, cylindrical bar like this. But cylindrical bar iritaudza kuti reaching 6 centimeters in diameter, kureva kudai so. It's 60 millimeters like that. Question is, how long is the bar? Kureva kuti tiri kuda kutsvaga this length. Mapona. So the first thing we have to do panapa, we really have to calculate the volume of this. The way we go about this, datumtererese. Patsanangurwa this question, tiri kutora that metal sheet to melta, and saka patiri kumelta metal sheet rikubva raita liquid rikaenda kuti mvura. Totora mvura dziya dzesimbi yameltwa tobva taita recast tobva tagadzira that bar. Saka the volume of our original metal sheet is not going to change. Murunzisa, tatora metal sheet andiri tori melter, volume yacho tango convert a form from a solid to liquid, but the volume remains the same. Ndo pane principle yekuanza kweseni. Volume inikuramba yakadaro. Volume yata remain the same, which means the volume we get tika calculator the volume of that metal sheet. That volume is going to be equivalent to the volume of the cylindrical bar. If we equate them, we are sure to get the answer. So let us work through it. Let me use a different color. Saka pana panjatanga ndati volume of metal sheet. Saka the volume of the metal sheet is equal to, remember the general form of the volume kana iri prism. Saka yama prisms aya hatina kupiwa cone kana pyramid, patinozoti 1/3 times. Saka ndichatongonyora kuti volume of metal sheet is equal to base area times height. Then that base area times height, what is going to be the base area? Remember, this is cyclic. Iseko. Saka base area is pi r squared times height h. Like that. But tadai manje, isusu hatina kupiwa radius, tapiwa diameter. Andiri. Satinge takuti consider radius of metal sheet. Saka radius metal sheet tunoiwana sei, tinoziva kuti diameter ingori equal to 2 times radius. And like we have explained this, diameter 2 times radius. So if we divide both sides na 2, zvoreva kuti half ye diameter ndiyo radius. Radius is equals to d over 2. But diameter it's 480 millimeters. So we divide it by 2. What do we get? Saka when we say 480 dividing 2, tunowana 240. So it's 240 millimeters. That is going to be the radius. Taziva kuti radius ichi tinge tangoti this is equal to pi radius yedu 240 squared. What is our height? Height yedu, it's this thickness. Mapaona? Because kuri kuti ndanga ndichigona hangu kudraw mondiregerera. Chinge chakadai so chinichi. So like this. Ndo chibhanduru chemetal chacho. Panapa it's 2 millimeters. Ndiyo height kunyangwe hayanzi thickness. Then panapa ndochi 480 diameter. Like ndo chakaita chinichi. Saka for our height chaisa thickness taudza kuti ichi i2. Saka tongoti times 2. Kureva kuti basically panapa tiri kuti this is 2 pi multiplying 240 squared. So we can get 240 squared easily using our calculator. It's 57600. Let me multiply this by 2. 57600 times 2. Tukona kuti answer yedu for volume iri kubuda iri 11 115 200. This is our volume. You can say cubic meter cubed. But volume yedu imanje 32 times this. Saka panapa pafunga wana pi. So I want you to remember zvatakatsanangura last time. Saka it's pi then millimeter cubed. Saka takati kana tisina kupiwa the value of pi, ngatisa substitute with either 22/7 or 3.14. Then chero tapiwa the value of pi, substitution funga kuitwa kusasi kokupedzisira. Saka take note of that. Saka ta calculate the volume of the metal sheet. Let us now consider kutsvaga the volume of the cylinder. Principle yedu ndeyekuti hazvisiyane volume metal sheet ne volume cylinder. So tauda calculate the volume of the cylinder, which will be equal to chi totanga nekuti base area times height. So base area times height, this is equal to, what is the base area? Saka since base redu riri circle, the base area is pi r squared times height yedu ndi L. Ndiyo yatiri kutsvaga. Mukadzokera question kuri kuti what is the length of L, and saka ndo yatiri kutsvaga that particular height. Question iri kuti how long is the bar. So tiri kuti the length of the bar is L. Okay, so let us solve this further. This is equal to pi, then r yedu is 60/2. Because the diameter is 60 millimeters, but we have to take the half of it kuti twane radius. So we did it kumsoro. I'm presuming kuti mazvibata ikoko. You know what is happening here. But don't forget to square here times L. So this is equal to, panapa tiri kuti pi 2 into 2 it's 1 into 60 and here it's 30. But it has to be 30 squared. And 30 squared is 900. So we have to confirm because we cannot lose marks. Saka panapa it's pi times g 900 times L. Kureva kuti this is simply 900 pi L. Like that. Saka taona kuti i 900. Saka taona kuti i 900 pi L. Remember takati pi ngai musakasika kuiconverta to anything isiya yakadaro. Tinge takunyora this statement kuti volume of metal sheet andika is equal to the volume of cylinder bar, because zvagadzirwa from the same material. Tangumeuta chimwe utigadzire chimwe. So the volume of the metal sheet ndio yatacalculate kumsoro is 115200 pi. This is equal to volume ye cylinder ndio yatacalculate as 900 pi L. Like that. Saka isusu tiri kudachi this L. Kurot kunoku we can just divide by 900 pi. Murukona benefit yakusiya pi ari pi. Kunoku akutongo canceleka zvakanaka. saka mapai anochekana, mazero ochekana. Takuchitsvaga manje kuti 1152 tikaidivhaidha na9 inotipa chii? Inotipa 128 millimeters ndiyo L. Saka therefore L is equal to 128 millimeters. Mukatarisa mucourse reader redu, you will see kuti example 2 yatiri kuita answer yavo vabuditsa 12.8 because it's in centimeters. Answer yedu iri millimeters. If we read again the question, hapana instruction yekuti answer yedu should be in centimeters, so we can leave it in millimeters. But the most important factor here is the volume does not change. Ndopanga paine the particular question. We are just going to give you an exercise. Sakandot muite exercise 10A. This is NGM4 chapter 10. I want you to practice with number 1, A, and also B. Then from there, I want you to do, in fact, mukaita number 1, A, B, C, D, E, and F. Munenge matorwisa. Munenge matoita a lot which will be beneficial for your understanding. Then, of course, to seal it off, and number 25. So this is going to be your exercise. Listen to the principles we have explained. Try to manipulate them and use them in your answering of questions, and you'll be okay. To those who haven't subscribed yet, may you please consider subscribing, join the family, let us learn together. To those who wish to learn with us through our extra lessons and extra support, you can get to us on these 2 numbers, but on WhatsApp. Thank you for lending me your time. I hope you learned something and have a nice one. Also, Godspeed to those who are writing their paper 2 tomorrow. And by tomorrow, I mean the 15th of October 2025, ZIMSEC level mathematics.